You can see the writing on the pavement. Young kids, they're growing up in basements. Online, a whole new generation. I'ma make mine, so you better go take it. Always, they need a new replacement. Decentralized, can't contain it. We're changing lives, yeah, upgrading. Call it suicide of the older generation. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. It's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Boom, there we go. Whoops, that's a little hot. Let's back that down a little bit. Let's back that down a little bit. Little hot, little hot. So here we are, not your normal Sunday. Nice to see everybody. Still trying to figure out our streaming over on Goyam TV, GTV. That is about to become, with the new year, the largest Christian whistleblowing platform out there. So I'm encouraging you to go over to GTV. Thank you, Dead Wolf. To go over to GTV. I'm the Christian whistleblower on there. Make yourself an account and go ahead and get ready to be part of the biggest, I don't want to say anti-Christian, the biggest Christian truth, the biggest Christian whistleblowing platform that's out there. And some people have said, oh, Jeff's not streaming on GTV anymore. He's mad at HT. No, Jeff, let's face it, Jeff's a borderline boomer. And I thought I was really good at technology. I've built websites and stuff. I'm not all that great at technology, let's just be real. So I found that out with my job. But at any rate, go over to GTV, follow the Christian Whistleblower, make yourself an account. I guarantee you it's going to be very well worth it. Today on Not Your Normal Sunday, is Christianity a suicide, murder, death cult? Yeah, I mean it. I'm serious. So first of all, let's say hi to some of the great folk, Ken, that are here today. Her Majesty is in the house. Alethea, Kylie Dugan, always great to see her. Tribal Defender. John Nettles. Colleen Schumer. This is one show that Colleen Schumer did not contribute to. Very odd. Kirsten is here. Dead Wolf's here. A Gypsy I Am is here. It has been many years, and it's so great to see you. Aaron McLemore, thanks. Great to see you again. Laka Lakas Pod, I'm sorry if I mess him up. Joni Marshall, always great to see Joni Marshall. We've got Just Frank. We've got lots of great people filing in. We appreciate you all. Lots and lots of people. are finding us again. Those shorts are really helping. So we're going to go ahead and keep doing that and rock this Casbah. What do you say? All right. I can't understand why we don't have more people viewing, but hey, you know, what are you going to do? We're just going to keep pressing. We're going to keep pushing, and we're going to get it done. So, is Christianity, oh, by the way, realgospeltruth.org. I am the Christian whistleblower, blowing the whistle on the fear and guilt, blood magic, Judeo-Christian, mind control matrix. I am Jeffrey Darty, and we're bringing you the real gospel truth. The word gospel predates Christianity by at least 1,000 years, and the word means good news of the victory of the heathen people. And baby, we're winning. You may not realize it, but we're winning. They stole our word. We're taking it back. Is that all right with you? If it's not, you might be in the wrong place. SBR deleted. Great to see you. Where do we go when we die, says Alexandero124. Well, we'll answer a question. Can we? Is it all right with you if I answer a question before we get into the deprogram? Well, that depends upon you. I'm convinced that when you pass away from this life, and you've got to understand that you are at least a dualistic being. You're looking at Jeffrey Darty, the Christian whistleblower, real gospel truth in the flesh. And this is really me. This is all me. Yet at the very same time, there is an incorporeal Thetan Jeff Darty. And by Thetan, I mean, I don't want to get into the soul versus spirit debate. So Thetan means the non-corporeal me. So at the same time, there's a me that's physical, and there's a me that's incorporeal. And part of this Christian matrix is to make you think that there is not an incorporeal you, and that what you do in this flesh, it's given to men once to die, after that the judgment. That's not true. That's called fear porn. So to answer your question, whatever you decide is real in this life, when you pass out of this life, your predisposition to have an afterlife that is consistent with your expectations. And there are entities out there that once you leave this physicality, it's shocking. You don't know what to do. That's one reason why I cold plunge, and I recommend cold plunge. We're going to get back on that, because when you dunk into, in my case, you know, anywhere between 36, sometimes lower because it's winter now, degree water, it is, I mean, it's like, oh, it's crazy, man. And that will help prepare you for what happens when you leave this body. So if you think that you're a sinner saved by grace and you die, then you're going to go to something that is analogous to your expectations of what heaven is. If you think you're going to sit on a cloud and play a harp and run and jump up on the lap of little baby Jesus, then you may get that, but you're in a soul farm, and they will still be farming you. And then they're going to cause you to be reincarnated. That's not the gist of this show. Over and over and over again until your Thetan is robbed of all its energetic vitality. They're going to use you. They're going to abuse you. They're going to wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, thank you, sir. They're going to bugger you until you're gone. That's how it works. If you think that you're a sinner, oh, I didn't get saved, I'm going to go to hell, guess what? You'll be in hell. But if you get the realization that you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free, you don't have original sin, you got the spark of the divine within, then when you die, you get to make the choice, especially if you've conditioned yourself to understand, oh, I just dunked into this water. I just left this physical body. It'll get you through that rush and allow you to be divine, sovereign, and free after you leave this body. And then you pick where you want to go. You pick what you want to do. Now, if you haven't been that productive and you're a heathen, You might find yourself in, a transitory place where you're going to get some more training, some more learning, toughen up a little bit. But if you've been a good fighter for our people, a good fighter for your people, even if you're not a white person, then you will find yourself in Valhalla if you're one of my folk. And if you're one of my kin, you would find yourself in the analogous place for your gods. So that's how it works, just to answer that question. I see a lot more people coming in. It's great to see you all. So let's go ahead and jump into this deep program. It does sound preposterous. Is Christianity a suicide, murder, death cult? Think about it this way. And I know a lot of you say, Jeff, there's no way Christianity can be a suicide, murder, death cult because my great-grandma, my grandma, my mother, sister, brother, my Uncle George, who lives in a van down by the river, they're good people. They're good people. So there's no way Christianity could be bad. I want you to consider something different. I want you to consider, is that a non sequitur? If you don't know what a non sequitur is, don't ask me in the chat. Look it up yourself. Go right now. And the time it takes you to say, Jeff, what's a non sequitur? You could put that into your favorite browser, your favorite AI, and it'll tell you what non sequitur means. It basically means it doesn't follow. So just because you know some people that are good, that are Christians, doesn't mean Christianity's good. Let me give you an analogy. How about Freemasonry? Most of us, all Freemasonry's bad, wicked, evil, dark. And I will admit and confirm to you that Freemasonry as it stands today is not helpful to divinity, sovereignty, and freedom, and you should avoid it. But think for a minute. Think of the Freemasons you've met. Most of them, good people. Industrious, community service, helping, doing their best. And you've got to understand there's 32 degrees in Freemasonry that we know of, but most people only go to the first 3. After you've gone through level 3, you're a Master Mason. You don't have to be 32 to be Master Mason. So just because there's some good people in Freemasonry does not mean that Freemasonry is good. And in the same way, just because you know some good people, thank you, Kirsten, just because you know some good people in Christianity doesn't mean Christianity is a good thing. But let me ask you a question. Why are you hesitant or afraid to put the research into Christianity that you put into Freemasonry? Are you maybe afraid of what you might find? And how many of you know people that are Christian that are not good people? You know, I've had a lot of death threats. Every month I get at least 1 or 2. And I've never had a death threat from a Freemason. Isn't that interesting? And every single death threat I've ever received was from a Christian. Just something for you to think about. Okay, let's get into this deep program. Is Christianity a suicide death cult? It sounds preposterous until you look at the evidence. So let's start looking at the evidence. So let's start at the beginning. Let's start with Abraham and Isaac. So in Genesis 22, which is a double 11, which is very important, very, very emphatic, Genesis 22 says, it came to pass that God did tempt Abraham. But wait a second. I thought that the Bible said that God doesn't tempt people. Oh, Jeff, you don't understand the word. May I suggest that maybe it's you that don't understand the word? I have a Bible college degree. I have nearing 150,000 hours of study in the original Greek and Hebrew text. And the word tempt in Genesis 22 is nasa, to test, to try, to prove, to tempt. So that makes a tiny little problem arise. Because James 1:13 says, let no man say when he's tempted, I'm tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. But Genesis 22 tells us that God tempted Abraham. Wow. Is it possible that James 1:13 is talking about the true divinity, the true Most High, who certainly doesn't tempt any man, and the God of the Bible is not that God? Is that possible? Could that possibly be true? And in James 1:13, the Greek word is parazo, which means to test, to tempt, to try, to examine. It's a perfect analogy to the Old Testament word. And let me ask you another question. How many blatant contradictions must you see in the Bible before you begin asking questions and thinking for yourself? How long can you, and this is your decision, only you can make it, how long will you refuse to study, investigate what Christianity is? Just a question for you. Okay, moving on, a little sniffly. And God said, we're back to Genesis 22, take your son, your only son. That should ring a bell to you. That should remind you of something. Take your only son, who you love, go to the land of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering. And do you know what the word burnt offering is in Hebrew? Holocaust. Just a little fun factoid. Upon one of the mountains which I will tell you of. In Genesis 22, Moriah is defined as a hill in Israel. On a hill far away stood an old an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. Now the question of whether Mount Moriah in Calvary refers to the same location, that's intrigued scholars, theologians, and curious minds alike for centuries. A lot of people think Moriah was Calvary. And I just thought of something last night, I think while I was sleeping. You know, what are we conditioned to think by movies and TV and all of this? The cavalry is going to come over the hill and save us. So I'd ask you to consider, is there some advanced kosher disclosure, psychological operation existing between the word cavalry, gonna come save us, and the word Calvary? You're conditioned to think that the cavalry is going to come over the hill and save you. They always did in the Westerns. Are you being conditioned to think that Calvary is going to be the hill that they're coming to save you on? Both names hold profound significance within biblical history. They symbolize pivotal moments in the history of the narrative of the Judeo-Christian traditions. And when you explore that connection, or the distinction, whichever it turns out to be, between those two sacred sites, it kind of opens up a fascinating window for you into the ancient geography, symbolism, and the script interpretation. I know you call it a scripture. I call it a script because I think that's what it is. Now, Professor Sarah Klein, who's from the University of Jerusalem, she states that the geographical and historical contents of Mount Moriah and Calvary differ. Mount Moriah is identified with Solomon's temple. Oh. So what if Moriah is not Calvary, but it's the temple? So they're focusing you on the temple. What is one of the biggest pushes now within Christian eschatology, which I've shown you over and over and over, was created by the Jesuits? What if that's kosher disclosure? You think you're focused on the old rugged cross, but you're really focused on Solomon's temple, and you're the sacrifice. Calvary in Greek means the place of the skull, and it's linked to the crucifixion of the Jesus character. So what if you are focusing your eternity on a hill far away. That is nothing but a place of death. And did Jesus commit suicide or was he murdered by his Father? But either way, he's dead, right? Of course, he wasn't real. It's a story, but stay with me. Current scholarship tends to support that Calvary and Moriah aren't the same, but I'll leave that for you to decide. Genesis 22 again, Isaac was taken to be sacrificed by his father Abraham. Fun fact, Isaac, hey, Philby, Isaac was probably between 20 and 37 years old when Abraham was commanded to sacrifice him, according to the various interpretations of biblical texts and Jewish tradition. The exact age isn't specified in the Bible, but if it tracks, then he was probably 32, 33, just like the Jesus character. Either way, he was a grown man. Skull and bones, a cross. Michelle, boom, that's great. Skull and bones, a cross. That temple's filled with skulls and bones of the sacrifices. So this strengthens this textual connection between the Jesus character and Isaac. And I will show you between Abraham and God. And Abraham is the only man in the entirety of Scripture, Griffin, nice to see you, that is called a friend of God. And what comes to me now, and I love that when I get on the air, I get these realizations that aren't in my brilliantly crafted screenshots and presentations, but now I lost my train of thought. Oh, Isaac was a grown man. So now we're back to suicide and death again. Was the plan for Abraham to murder Isaac at the order of God, or did Isaac submit to suicide? Either way, the very basis of what is the Jesus character sacrifice, a human sacrifice, however you define it, the very basis of the basis of the Judeo-Christian story is suicide, murder, death, take your pick. Personally, I would prefer not to base my spirituality, my eternity, on suicide, murder, or death. And then also you notice in Genesis 22, it was on the third day of their journey that Abraham was going to murder Isaac. Isaac was a grown man, going to offer himself up as a sacrifice. And now this just came to me. What does it say in the New Testament? Give yourself a living sacrifice, which is your reasonable service. So Isaac was a type of you and me. I spent 25, 30 years as a Christian, as a living sacrifice. What does that mean? That's a walk-in. It's no longer I that live, but Christ that lives within me. What is Christ? He's a spirit. He's an entity. So again, it ties it back to what we've talked about recently. Third day, Jonah, 3 days, 3 nights, Pinocchio, also swallowed by a great fish. All of this might well be a Jonah Pinocchio fish tale. Have you thought about that? Are you willing to think about that? Then we go to verse 6. Abraham took the wood, on a hill far away, stood an old wooden cross. The cross was made of wood. Ties us back. He took the wood of the Holocaust. And what makes you Christian? Because you want to support Israel because of the Holocaust. And he laid it upon Isaac his son. Wasn't the old rugged cross laid upon the Jesus character? Didn't he carry it down the Via Doloroso? Yes. Isaac carried his own freaking cross, just like the Jesus character carried his own cross. Damn, this is good. We got to get this out to more people. And then Abraham took the fire in his hand and a knife. If anybody else, if you just read in the newspaper tomorrow that some guy took his 33-year-old son and was going to stab him and then burn him, you would think that was the height of psychopathy, the height of just bad. And you'd be right. So why don't you apply that simple logic to Abraham and Isaac, the friend of God? If the friend of God, the only man called a friend of God, was a psychopathic murderer of his own son, or at least willing to be, and remember, the Bible says if you look on a woman with lust, you've already committed adultery. Don't you think if you plan to kill your son, well, you've already committed murder? Just things for you to consider. And then in Genesis 22, Isaac's like, whoa, wait a minute here. Hey, Dad, I see the wood. I see the fire. Where's the lamb for this burnt offering? What's Jesus called? The character is called the Lamb of God, right? So Abraham says, don't worry, son. God will provide himself a lamb. See, Abraham was even lying. He knew that Isaac was the lamb. Yo, 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 Pyramid 7. Isaac was the lamb. So again, God himself will provide a lamb ties to the Jesus character. They can't be missed here. This ties the whole scenario to the Calvary event for people that want to think and not refuse to think. Thank you, Griffin. And they came to the place which God had told him of, and Abraham built an altar there. And he laid the wood in order, and he bound Isaac his son. Could I suggest to you that every single one of you that is willing to accept that either suicide of a human sacrifice, murder of a human sacrifice, that's acceptable to you, then you've become bound in your mind, bound in your spirit, bound in your thetan. Where do I go when I die? Well, if you believe that, it's not a good place. Isaac was treated just like the Jesus character. And then in verse 10, Abraham stretched out his hand and took the knife to slay him. Abraham was ready to stab his own son. Friend of God, ready to stab his own son. Let me give you something to think about. Matthew 5:28. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery already in his heart. And I would imagine if a woman looked at a woman, then she would have committed adultery in her heart, right? So if we just think, Abraham had already committed murder in his own heart. Isaac had already committed suicide in his own heart. So they were already both guilty. They were already both guilty. Hey, RTR. Isaac of suicide, Abraham of murder, and God of murder for telling them what to do. Thank you, Gypsy. So the only man in the entirety of the Bible called a friend of God was a murderer in his own heart. And do you know that birds of a feather, they tend to flock together? So if Abraham was a murderer and he was the only man in the Bible called a friend of God, then you hang out with people that are like you, so that at least gives us a reason to think, well, is the God of the Bible a murderer? And if you read the Old Testament, read the New Testament, you've got to say, well, hell yeah, he is. And what does the Bible say about Abraham being willing to murder his own son? I got a son. I'm not murdering my son for you. Not going to do it. Because I'm not a psychopath. I'm not a murderer. I'm not a fiend. But what does James 23 say? 2, 2, 3. It's a 7. These things matter. 2 plus 2 plus 3 is 7. The number of God, referring to an act perpetrated by the friend of God. Abraham believed God, and it was credited to him as righteousness, and he was called a friend of God. Now, you're divine, sovereign, and free, even if you don't want to be. You're allowed to believe whatever you want to believe. This is not Charlie Kirk's America, Pete Hegseth's America, Donald Trump's America. We're not here to tell you you've got to believe what we believe. But I believe you have the right to have all the facts in order to make your decision. So the word friend of God, 5384, Philos, it's the word for Phileo, Philadelphia. It's a friend. Someone who's dearly loved, prized in a personal and an intimate way, a trusted confidant, held dear in a close bond of personal affection. And it expresses experience-based love. Abraham didn't become the friend of God until he was willing, and in his heart already did, murder his own son. Even after giving 30 years of my life, I used to say the best years of my life, not true. The best years of my life are yet to come. Well, the past 7 since I met Cynthia, pretty damn good. But it was the experience, the proof in the pudding of the friendship of Abraham. Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham, and I am one, and so are you. Really? Do you want to be part of that club? It's up to you. I don't want to be part of that club. We'll do that, Philby. We'll do a rod show about Charlie Kirk. Does the sound good, folks? Give me a 1 if the sound is good. Give me a 2 if I need to crank it up a little bit, or a 3 if it's too loud. And then agapeo, which is the word that Philos is based on linguistically. Agapeo focuses on value-driven, decision-based love. So God doesn't love you just because you're you. Thank you, RTR. God only loves you if you do what he says to do and don't think for yourself. Make it louder. I don't know if I can do that. Yeah, I'm already in the yellow here. I'll try. If it gets too loud, give me a 3 and we'll back it back down. We want Kirsten to be happy. Jessica, nice to see you. Equicentric, nice to see you. Wow. So God only has affection for you if you do what he says. How many of you would be married to a woman or a man that would only love you if you did what they said? Just something to think about. Thank you, Desiree. She says, I haven't aged at all. You know, I get accused of black magic because I am aging in reverse, people say. Cabot, the Voynich manuscript, is a mysterious handwritten book written on vellum. Please email that to me, Cabot. My email is Gotham, like in Batman, LTD, like in Limited, GothamLTD at Gmail. And Nanosoma is a big part of it. And at realgospeltruth.org, you can get your Nanosoma, which gets everything out of you that's not supposed to be in you. Keeps you looking sexy even when you're 62. And Focus Life Force Energy as well. And we're going to get our cold plunge on there. We're going to get our sauna on there. These are the things that are making me age backwards. So I want to share those with you because they're very important. I get a little something, but not a lot. I just want you to be optimized in your life. So, the angel of the Lord called out of heaven and said, "Don't kill him. For now I know that you fear God." Isn't God omnipotent? I love these realizations. Isn't God omnipotent? Isn't God omniscient, which means knows everything? Knows everything? So if God knows everything, why did he have to know that why did Abraham have to be willing to kill his son for God to know if God knows everything? What if God of the Bible, not the Most High, but God of the Bible, not the Great Spirit, but God of the Bible, what if that God had to manipulate Abraham into willingly being a murderer and Isaac into willingly be a suicide? Because when you make that decision to be a living sacrifice, when you make that decision to align yourself with a human sacrifice, when you make that decision that it's okay to eat flesh and drink blood, what do you think that does to you energetically? What do you think that does to your thetan, that incorporeal part of you? I'll leave that for you to think. But because you haven't withheld your son, your only son, from me, well, now I know that you love me, but he's omniscient, so he should have already known. That's his only friend. Only friend in the whole Bible, just Abraham. But now I know. Something's going on here. This story's a lie. Do you really want to worship a God? Do you really want to be involved in a religion that the only way that you can prove to a God that's supposed to already know your heart is by being willing to become an accessory after the fact to murder, suicide, and death? It's up to you. So then Abraham looked, and there was a ram caught in a thicket by his horns or thorns. He was caught in this thorny bush. What did the Jesus character have on his head? Thorny crown, right? And it was a ram that was caught in that thorny bush. And it was the ram that was sacrificed instead of Abraham's son. What are Gentiles, what are heathens called in the Bible? Rams. There's the sheep go into paradise, the rams go into hell, right? Are you getting this? When you agree to be a suicide, to be a living sacrifice, that makes you a lamb. But when you want to remain divine, sovereign, and free, that makes you a ram, and that makes you a bad guy, a bad girl. Do you see the psyop that's being perpetrated upon you? And the fact of the matter is that you, as a folk or a kin, someone that doesn't accept the fear and guilt, Judeo-Christian, blood magic, mind control matrix, when you agree to lay aside your gods, your goddesses, your people, and agree to enter into the suicide pact, then you have become the scapegoat. You are dying for them. You're the Holocaust. This is why God is called Jehovah Jireh. God will provide. Jehovah Jireh, my provider, His grace is sufficient for me, for me, for me. All these old songs. When you become a Christian, if you're not of that alien race that came to our planet and started Judeo and Islam and Christianity, you accept their guilt, their sin, their punishment. You become their scapegoat. And by the way, ram can just as accurately be translated as goat. See? Lamb, sheep, goat, sheep or goat. So the question that you really want to ask right now is, am I a ram or a sheep? Sheep don't think for themselves. Sheep accept willingly They commit suicide. They become living sacrifices. They're okay with being in a suicide, murder, death cult. And your accessories after the fact to all of the murder and all the suicide and all the death has been perpetrated in the name of Judeo-Christianity. How does that make you feel? The ram was caught in a sabak, something that was interweaved, entwined, or entangled with thorns, and he was caught by his horns. What are horns symbolic of? Your power. So when you take on this Jesus character with the entwined, entangled thorns, and you put that over your power, you become their scapegoat. You become the propitiation, the sacrifice for their dark deeds. How do you feel about that? This ram, which is emblematic of the folk, the kin, the heathens, this ram was caught in something that was folded together, that was woven. What gets woven? Vines. Griffin Odinson, I don't understand anyone who's read the Bible can continue to believe in it. That's because Odinson, as a Christian evangelist who spent 25 years going church to church to church to church, I know beyond a shadow of any doubt that at least 95% of Christians never read the Bible. That's why they continue to believe it. The best cure for Christianity is to read the Bible. I ask you, you're yelling at me, you're spitting at me, you're mad at me, but are you really mad at me or are you mad at you? Have you read the Bible from Genesis 1:1 to Revelation 22:21? Have you read it? Do you know what you're talking about? Smoochie in the house. What is Judeo-Christianity? What does the New Testament say? He is the vine. What does the vine do? It entwines. And the vine of Christianity entwines and entraps heathen folk, kin, rams into that fear and guilt. Blood magic, Judeo-Christian, mind control network, the suicide, murder, death cult. That, boy, it's pretty hard to deny. That's what Christianity is. And the ram is caught. The ram, us, folk is, from Jeffrey Darty, folk is my people. The Western European, Aryan, white people. That's my folk. But I have kin. And my kin are the black, brown, red, yellow people that also say, no, I will not bow the knee to the Judeo-Christian fear and guilt blood magic network. So we get caught by placing that crown of thorns over our power, our horns. And if you remember, in the New Testament it says, Paul said, who wrote 2/3 of the New Testament, being crafty, I caught you with trickery. The horns are symbolic of our power. They're on the head like our mind. And it's all related to that Calvary event and the temple where you become a scapegoat. And to this day it was said, on the mountain of the Lord, the sacrifice will be provided, because they know that they're getting really good at tricking the divine, the sovereign, the free, the red, the yellow, black, and white, the folk, the kin, into becoming the sacrifice. It's a spell book 100, Aaron. Heathens, through the Calvary event, continue to be the scapegoat, carrying the sins of the children of Abraham. That's death by suicide. Wow. And cousins, Alethea, you're right. And what did God say to Abraham? Because you did that, I'm going to multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, as the sands of the sea, and they shall possess the gate of their enemies. What's the word gate? It's an opening, a door, or a gate. This is domination not only of earth, but of the stars of heaven, the universe, the galaxy, by these alien invaders. And like Cynthia says, there's many, many more of these invaders than we've been told. Christian identity continues to blind us to this fact. We live in a converso nation. If you don't know what a converso is, look it up. We have to be careful on YouTube. But not only do we live in a converso nation, we live in a converso planet, a converso galaxy, and a converso universe. And our mission is not just to free our people, not just to free this planet, but our mission is to, some of you will be willing to accept this mission, your mission, should you choose to accept it. They call it a mission impossible, but hey, we're Tom Cruise and he gets it done, right? We're part of the IMF, the Impossible Mission. IMF, what's the F? Impossible Mission, whatever. Not only are we going to rid our people of this converso plague, not only are we going to rid our nation, not only are we going to rid our planet, not only are we going to rid our galaxy, we're going to rid our universe of these people, this plague. Are you ready to ride? But first you got to set yourself free. And you know the great, some singer, a Method Man or something like that, he said the words, free your mind and your ass will follow. And in this context, those of you that are still Christian, have your head up your own ass. Because you won't free your mind. You won't even expose your mind to the truth. Why are you willing to study everything but Christianity? Why are you willing to study everything but the Bible? Only you can answer. And to Cynthia's point, the world is more Jewish than we realized. 152 million people have Jewish roots. There's over 1 million more Jews than the 5.2 million reported in the last decade. And everybody that's Christian is also spiritually Jewish. That's what the New Testament says. Christian identity is spiritually Jewish. Christian nationalism is spiritually Jewish. There's a lot more of ethnic religious Jews than we know. And there's a lot more of the divine, sovereign, and free, the heathen, the folk, the kin that are becoming Jewish in spirit as well. This is kosher disclosure, and it's beginning to be more and more. Now, I don't like a lot of these people that are on social media, but they're all beginning to say, whoa, whoa. There's a lot of these people. Just something to think about. Now let's move on. Is Christianity a suicide, murder, death cult? Let's look at David, King David, Uriah. 2 Samuel 12, King David and Uriah the Hittite. The prophet Nathan says to David, you're a bad guy. Here's deep kosher disclosure. Listen to this. You have taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Now, Abraham was the only guy in the whole Bible that was called a friend of God. But David, King David, was the only guy that was called a man after God's own heart. So the fact that David was a man after God's own heart is one of the linchpins of kosher disclosure in the entire Bible. And I'll show you this today, right now, in fact. Are you ready? You might want to write this down. David took Uriah the Hittite, the wife of Uriah the Hittite. That was Bathsheba. Now, you go right past this. You don't even think about it. But who were the Hittites? It's word H2845 in your Strong's, Cheth. What is a Hittite? It's a terror. A Hittite is an original Canaanite. That was all the people that the God's chosen people were fighting against. The Hittites were Anatolian, one of the oldest collective Indo-European ethnogroups. They were heathens. They were us. So King David, the man after God's own heart, race mixed. He married outside of his race, and he saw one of our hot, sexy folk women. The man after God's own heart, race mixed. Tie that to Galatians 3:28, which says there is no race. Tie that to Paul saying, oh, just engraft in. It's a direct attack on the folk and kin, perpetrated by King David and given more power within the New Testament. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house. That's what's happening right now. Since David and Paul, Galatians 3:28, the writings of Paul, are pushing this race mixing, we're starting to wake up. And we're going to stand against them. Jeff, why do you still do this? Because out of the house of Christianity, we're going to help our folk, our kin, our heathens raise up. We're going to help white people realize that they've turned their back on their own folk, their own kin, their own gods, their own goddesses. We're going to help brown people, black people, red people, yellow people do the same thing. We will rise up. We will wake up. We will win, because we are the terror from within that will be their ultimate undoing, and they've told you this, but you won't read it and you won't listen to me because I'm a bad guy. I want you to be divine, sovereign, and free. They want you to be a suicide, murder, or death, and they want you to be an accessory after the fact by aligning with that. Who really loves you? And what is government? We discovered this the other day in our deep program called It's Showtime. Go look that one up. It's on the channel. Government, to govern means to rule, lead, or oversee, or control. The Latin root ment means mind or thought, mentality. So if you allow someone else to rule, lead, or oversee your mind or thought, that's what government does. And that means if you subject yourself to government, you've got dementia. Now, that's true in the real government world today, but more than that, this is what it's really about. And this is why government's called government. King James Bible, for unto us a child is born. Jesus character. Great to see you, Jim Hobbs. And the government will be upon his shoulders. What is the purpose of the Jesus character according to the Bible, not according to Jeffrey Darty, not according to the Christian whistleblower? The real gospel truth is that Christianity, Judeo-Christianity, is the government that rules, leads, oversees, controls your mind and thought, your mentality. And when you give into it, you have accepted dementia. And the longer you stay in it, the more demented you become. I lost my father 3-4 years ago. I block it out, to dementia. My mother just got diagnosed by dementia. I'm doing all I can. Hey, Ramblin' Willie, I'm doing all I can to save you from dementia. Will you be saved? They will fail. It's written in their own script. Even they are in the suicide death cult. The people that submit to suicide and death, that become living sacrifices. So here's what Nathan told David because he slept with Bathsheba and had a child. Because this deed thou hast done has given great occasion to the enemies of the Lord, the child that is born unto thee shall surely die. Okay, get this. It's a little deep. Hey, Arthur King, it's a little deep. King David's race mixing created what has become today Judeo-Christian fear and guilt, blood magic, mind control matrix, specifically Christian identity, specifically Christian identityism, Christian nationalism. And it was probably David's son more than the Son of God, the fake Jesus. It was David's son. This child. Isaiah 9:6, which is 15, which is a 6. 666. For unto us a child is born. It's not Jesus. It's referring to David's child. A son is given. The government will be upon his shoulders. If you submit to this fear and guilt, Judeo-Christian blood magic mind control matrix, you become demented. King David's race-mixing child is emblematic of the Judeo-Christian Jesus character championed by Paul. They and their governments, socially and spiritually, will fail. They know they're losing. That's why they don't care about lying, cheating, stealing. Am I giving you something to think about today? We're coming to the end here. John 3:16, the most famous verse in all the Bible, is the greatest piece of kosher disclosure. And John 3:16 for thinking people tells you Christianity is not anything you want to be a part of unless you're psychopathic, masochist, psychopathic or masochist. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, just like Abraham. But supposedly God did the deed. He actually let his son get murdered. He actually let his son commit suicide. The Bible God, if you believe the Bible story, the Bible God is a murderer of his own son. Even Abraham only did it in his heart, which, of course, the Jesus character says makes him just as guilty. But God really did sacrifice his own son, according to the story. So, do you really? Do you really want to worship a God that murdered his own son? You wouldn't have a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, neighbor that killed their own son. But yet you're willing to worship and praise and follow a God that killed his own son. He's a murderer. The enemy seeks to steal, to kill, to destroy. And the enemy's been a murderer from the beginning. Thank you, genetically modified. God really did sacrifice his son, as the story goes. So if Abraham was the friend of God, what are the chances that God did what he kept his only friend from doing? There's zero historical proof that the God of the Bible ever sent his only son, and zero historical proof that he was ever sacrificed via crucifixion or any other method. It's just another fishtail. It's part of the Judeo-Christian suicide, death, murder cult. In fact, it's the linchpin. And you have to ask yourself, do you really want to be a part of this? Think about it. Either the Bible God murdered his own son, and you worship a murderer, which puts you in a murder-death cult, or the Jesus character committed suicide, which puts you in a suicide cult. So which one do you believe? Are you in a death cult or are you in a suicide cult? Are you in a murder? You're in a death cult, but are you in a murder cult or a suicide cult? And if you remember in the Garden of Gethsemane, after the Jesus character was abusing a youth, they were naked in the garden, 2 layers of security. If you remember before in that story, Jesus, the character, said to God, "Please, Daddy, don't make me go to the cross." He came back the second time. "Please, Daddy, don't make me go to the cross." The third time, "Please, Daddy, don't make me go to the cross." But then what did he say? Nevertheless, not your will, but my will. What does that tell you? That tells you that the will of the Jesus character was broken by MK Ultra mind control of the God of the Bible. You are Jesus. You are Jesus. And you're allowing yourself, your mind, your will, your divinity, your sovereignty, your freedom to be overridden by a murderer that's convincing you to commit suicide, become a living sacrifice, and enter into a death cult. And all of it from the Bible. Yes, that's the book for me. I stand alone on the word of God, the Bible. Are you in a murder cult or a suicide cult? Either way you choose, you're still in a death cult. John 3:16 is the ultimate kosher disclosure. It's inversion. That means when the subject or meaning of something is reversed. It's an occult law of reversal and inversion. It's on full display in the most famous Bible verse of all. For God so loved the world. The fact is, according to his own testimony, the God of the Bible hates the world. When he says in John 3:16, oh, God so loved the world, he's really saying, I hate you. And if you would just read the Bible, Genesis 6:6, you can't make that up. 6:6. The Lord, Yahweh, the God of the Bible, he regretted that he had made man on the earth. He didn't make man on the earth, but he still regretted that man was there. He was grieved in his own heart. And what did he say? I will kill every damn one of them. I will blot out man from the face of the earth. And not just men. He wants to kill everything that's beautiful. He wants to kill all the beautiful beasts that are on the earth. He wants to kill all of the beautiful birds that are in the air. For God so loved the world. It's kosher disclosure. It's inversion. God hates the world, and he hates you. That's why he wants you to commit suicide, become a living sacrifice, so he can grind you to powder until you are gone. Do you doubt this? You remember the Bible says, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses? Well, he doubled down. Numbers 23:19. God's not a man that he should lie, or a son of man that he should change his mind. Does God speak and not act? Does he not promise and fulfill? The God of the Bible promised that he would destroy every living creature on earth. He's already tried it once, and he's going to try it again. A gypsy I am, it's not about Catholic Protestant. It's about Judeo-Christianity, period. Don't get caught up in that. And as Philby says, they're doing a hell of a job destroying everything beautiful. I'm out of coffee. We got to end the show, the deprogram. For God so loved the world, he really hated the world, it's inversion, that he gave his only begotten son. He did not give his only begotten son. It's a lie. There's no proof he gave his son. And if he did, he murdered him, or MK Ultra forced him into suicide. 3 separate times Jesus said, Daddy, please don't make me. But finally, he succumbed to the MK Ultra mind control and said, okay, I'll do it. Again, your choice. Murder or suicide. You're in a death cult either way. And here comes the next inversion. Whoever believes on him won't perish but will have everlasting life. That's a lie. The truth is the exact opposite. If you believe in this Judeo-Christian fear and guilt, blood, magic, mind control matrix, if you accept this Jesus character as your personal Savior, you will perish. And you will be robbed of your eternal life that's yours. Here's the next inversion lie in John 3:16. I got to cut this out and make this a separate deprogram. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that through him he might be saved. Even if you believe the Bible. The only ones that are condemned are those that hear and choose not to obey. The exact inversion of the text. For God sent his Son into the world, not to condemn the world, but that the world through Jesus might be saved. But the only people that are condemned are the people that hear and don't obey. It's an inversion. It's the exact inversion of the text. If you've never heard, you can't be guilty. Why do you think they stole our Great Commission? That's ours. That means tell the truth of the great news of the heathens. They stole that word from us. They stole go preach the gospel to every nation. And they are the ones that are out there making everybody guilty. That's why they're so driven. Here's another realization. They're so driven. Oh, we got to preach the gospel. You got to send money so we can preach to the people in Mongolia and preach to the people in Africa and Asia, all the islands at sea. We got to tell these people about Jesus because that's the only way to make you guilty. Because if you don't hear, you can't be guilty. It's a playbook of the enemy. Jesus is the ultimate killer clown. Good one. He that believeth is condemned. He that believeth is not condemned. He that believeth is condemned already. Exact inversion. If you don't believe in Jesus, you can't be guilty. And this is the condemnation. Light has come to the world. Men love darkness rather than light. Do you really think that we had no light in this world until that alien civilization showed up and brought Judeo-Christianity? What are the evil deeds that we're guilty of? Choosing not to bow to the Judeo-Christian fear and guilt, blood magic, mind control matrix, because we have a mind that has been enlightened and a mind that has been enlightened. Now here comes the truth. For everyone that doeth evil hates the light, the illumination, the Illuminati, the enlightenment. Neither do they come to the light, the illumination, the Illuminati, the enlightenment. Go back and watch our Illuminati show. Lest his deeds be reproved. See what they're saying there? That once you learn the truth of the original truth of the Illuminati or the illumination, which was we will not bow to tyrannical governments and we will not bow to tyrannical religions. Once you are exposed to the light of the enlightenment, which is I'm divine, sovereign, and free, I can look in this world and I can choose the deity that I choose to align with, or I can choose no deity at all if that's the way I want to be. To them, that's evil, because the only way they can steal you, milk you dry over and over again till there's nothing left is to get you to suicide yourself and to align with the suicide, murder, and death cult that is Judeo-Christianity. I am treetop tall today, aren't I, Bridget? Wall to wall, treetop tall. And when you learn about what the Illuminati really is, I'm not saying the Illuminati is good today. Watch the show. I'm saying the Illuminati was built on, and America was founded on, two principles. We will not serve under tyrannical governments, and we will not serve under tyrannical religions. That's the Illuminati, the real, original Illuminati. That's the Enlightenment. Thomas Paine, Thomas Jefferson, without them there would have been no revolution. But when you come to the illumination and the Enlightenment, you realize how awful and dangerous these people really are. This is the one you need to go watch. It's right here on the channel. The Truth of the Illuminati. How deep are you willing to go? Watch it. Watch it. This is why they hate and slander the Illuminati. This is why they hate and slander the Enlightenment. This is why Charlie Kirk, who does look like Butthead, 100%. Let me see if I can pull that up. We need a little lightness here. Smoochie sent me a little picture. You've probably seen it. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. I want to show it to you. It's freaking awesome. I don't want to do that. Come on. Watch this. I told you he looked like he could be in that FUBAR gang, which was a Down syndrome gang. Watch this. Where is this? Where is it? Here it is right here. Tell me that Charlie Kirk don't look like Butthead. Tell me Charlie Kirk don't look like Butthead. Tell me. He's fooling you. He's fooling you. He's fooling you. What do we got here? Equicentric. Religions typically include a combination of beliefs and practices and a moral ethical code that guides human behavior. Do you really think we need Christianity to have a moral code? Christianity has been around for 2,000 years. Human culture capable of supporting religion morality, 50,000 years. Yeah, he looks just like Butthead. Wasn't that Butthead? I never watched him. Okay. How do you undo the spell? I got this from the Magenta School of Magic. Doesn't mean I endorse them. I like this. I brought it. Here's how you reverse magic. And in case you haven't figured it out, the Judeo-Christian fear and guilt, blood magic, mind control matrix is magic. Black magic with the K. Magic can be a powerful tool for transformation and manifestation. But there are instances where the effects of a spell may no longer align with a person's desires or values. Have you got to the place while listening to this that maybe you're realizing Christianity may not align with my desires or values anymore? It could be that when you accepted the spell, you didn't have full knowledge of its consequences, or that the circumstances have changed because you saw the Christian whistleblower, and now you're realizing that this spell is not only unnecessary, it's unwanted. Right? Maybe you've realized that it has negative consequences. I don't know. Maybe it's up to you. In such cases, you have an ethical responsibility to undo the spell, and when you do, it will rectify any harm that it was caused. And you need to approach the process of undoing magic with integrity, with compassion, and with respect for yourself. This means ensuring that the desire to undo a spell is not driven by ego or a desire to control others, but by a genuine concern for the highest good of all. This is why I hate it. I hate it. It bugs me when people say, "Oh, Jeff, you woke me up, and I know you're trying to be loving and kind, but no, I didn't wake you up, and if I did, you're not awoke." You have to wake you up. I take you to the water, but you got to drink. I take you to the truth, but you got to think. If you have decided to renounce Christianity because I said you should, you're not there yet. Don't do it. Go sit back down. Don't you dare come out of Christianity because Jeffrey Daugherty said to do so. Come out of Christianity because you have studied it and you have figured out. Maybe I put you along the path. Don't you dare come out of Christianity because Jeffrey Daugherty said so. Come out of Christianity because you've realized you're divine, sovereign, and free, and you no longer want to bow the knee to the Judeo-Christian fear and guilt, blood magic, mind control network. You don't want to be in a murder, suicide, death cult anymore. That's why you come out. That's why you come out. The first step is to assess the situation and determine whether you need to come out or not. It's up to you. I kind of give you a little push, a little shove, gentle nudge to assess, to determine, do I need to get out of this? Look, if you want to stay in the suicide, murder, death cult, that's your right. And believe it or not, I'll support your right to do what you want to do as long as you've actually thought it through. Take the time to reflect on the spell. And Christianity is a spell. Take the time to reflect on the effects of it. Has it given you the desired outcome? Have your circumstance changed? Does the spell still align with your current values and intentions? It's important to be honest and open with yourself and have self-reflection. Don't do it just because Jeff says so, even though Jeff is right about 98.475% of the time. Sometimes you hold on to spells out of fear and attachment. Is that you? Even when they don't serve your highest good anymore. Is that you? But by assessing your situation objectively, you can make an informed decision about whether to proceed with undoing the magic. That's what I'm talking about. It's up to you. I'm just casting seed, right? Just throwing out the seed. Undoing magic will allow you to regain control over your life. It will present you an opportunity for growth and transformation. And through the undoing process, you learn about yourself, your intentions, and your power to shape your own reality. Magic is a powerful tool, and there is good magic. Magic's a powerful tool that can be used for positive and negative purposes. And when you approach it with respect, responsibility, and understanding, you can harness the power to create positive change in your life and in the world around you. And that's it. It's all I got. It's all I got. What do you think? How do you feel about what you've just heard? Did you sit down when you first saw this as Christianity, a suicide, murder, death cult, and think, oh, that's crazy? Well, now that you've heard the evidence, what do you think about? And here's somebody again. Reality, the Holy Spirit's connected to the Most High. Who's the Holy Spirit? The Holy Spirit's the one that told Abraham to kill his son. Come on. Come on. Thank you, Kirsten. Let me see if I can run through this chat a little bit. Come on, man. Got to shear that wood off to find the wolf within. Speak it out loud. Manifest it. Oh, I was thinking of this. If you want to be blinded by the light, you'll be ripped up like a deuce. What is the light? Either you think the light comes from somewhere else or you think the light comes from you. The real light is your enlightenment. The real light is the illumination of your Phaeton in your mind. There's no way to go back through all of these. There's so many, and I'm so happy there's so many. Frau Franz is back. Boom. Love it. All right. I'm a little worn out. Illumination, yes. Look it up. What does illumination mean? You know what? Let's look it up together. What do you say? Let's look up the word illumination. All right? And I can tell you're a little afraid of it. Let's look up the word illumination. Here you go. Here's Goyim TV, by the way. And here's me. This is about to be brand new. It's going to be the biggest Christian whistleblowing platform on the internet. So just come over here to the Christian Whistleblower and become a follower. But let's just look up the word illumination. It's very easy. Give me just 1 second. Let's set this microphone down. And we'll look up the word illumination. So reality, you need to go back and watch that show that I told you about, The Truth of the Illuminati. You don't have to, but if you really want to know, then you'll do that. No, I just want the word illumination. There's Illumination Entertainment. Illumination definition. Illumination definition. All right, here we go. What does illumination mean? The act of illuminating. Oh, that's so horrible and terrible. Who would want to be illuminated? I know you can't hardly see it, but it's right here. The state of being illuminated. Oh, that's terrible. A source of light. Oh, that's horrible. Illumination, definition, and meaning. The act of illuminating or being illuminated. What's illuminating mean? It means to supply or brighten with light. Do you want light? Spiritually or intellectually? The state of being illuminated. being supplied or brightened with light, enlightened spiritually or intellectually. That's what the Illuminati meant. We don't want to suffer under tyrannical governments or tyrannical religions. So that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. You find Goyim TV just type in Goyim TV on your browser and it'll take you to it. All right, folks. I appreciate you all very, very much. This is our biggest crowd so far. Very, very thankful that you've chosen to be here. And we're just getting started. I have to work full time. Takes away from the time that I have to do, right? You're exactly right, reality. You have to find the light from within. Thank you. And again, I just kind of look at these things and I don't always catch the entire context. I hope we gave you something to think about today. But not only is there divinity, not only is there sovereignty, not only is there freedom in this way, there's also some retribution coming our way. Even the Bible says that truth, reality, the Most High, the real gods and goddesses, they will restore what the locust has eaten. The locusts are that group of people that came to our world and brought this Judeo-Christian fear and guilt, blood, magic, mind control matrix. They've stolen from us. Thank you, Desiree DeBellis. You're due some retribution. I'll see you again real soon. Reach out. Gotham, like in Batman, LTD at gmail.com. Go to realgospeltruth.org. You can leave me a message there. You can join up on the mailing list. You can get your nanosoma, get your focused life force energy. They've stolen a lot from you. They've stolen a lot from you. They've stolen a lot from me. And we deserve a little retribution. And it's past time. I salute you for being here, seeking after truth. I'll see you again real soon. I love you all.
Retribution! Oh yeah, we want retribution!